the people stand up against unfairness. Social movements and protest actions have been present in our society as a result of social injustices and global issues that require political attention. Most of these social movements have made use of protests to publicly show disapproval or opposition towards a specific topic or situation. Recent protests surround topics such as abortion, environment, globalization, guns, immigration, labor, LGBTQ+ rights, etc. Social movements evolve adapting themselves to the situation in a specific context. One current example is the movement for racial justice. The American Civil Rights Movement in the mid-1900s had its roots in a long effort of African slaves and their descendants to resist racial oppression and abolish the institution of slavery. In December 1955, a black woman named Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus for a white passenger. This event is known as the Montgomery Bus Boycott and triggered one of the first major protests for African American rights across the US. The protest scenario promoted the emergence of new social movements and political organizations supporting the civil rights movement, achieving considerable improvements to the racial gap not only in the US. However, as predicted by Martin Luther King, the whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. 65 years later, the struggle for racial justice is still alive across the globe. The death of George Floyd, an African American who was unfairly assassinated by the police in the US, spreads a new wave of protest all over the world. Pitifully, this event reminds us of the persistent, systematic oppression and discrimination faced by people due to their skin color, even in the actuality. The Black Lives Matter movement is a fight for freedom, liberation, and justice for Black lives. The massive mobilization of people supporting the statement that Black Lives Matter has crossed continents and goes beyond skin color. In Ireland, the protests were present in the main cities, and Limerick was not an exception. On the 6th of June 2020, large crowds gathered in Limerick to stand in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. The support from those in Limerick was extended to social media as the hashtag Black Lives Matter Limerick began to spread. The long, ongoing fight for social justice remains in search of fair and peaceful relations between all the individuals in society. It is, for this reason, that as a community we must continue to work together to battle racism and social injustices. In order to spark a social impact, this communal work is called collective action and includes signing petitions, making donations, protests, strikes, etc. The more voices shouting about an issue, the larger the impact that is made. If everyone acknowledges the systematic oppression that some members of our society faces on a daily basis and works together to fight for social justice for all members of society, we can all live in a world we can all enjoy. But why does it matter? Why is group action important? Why can't one individual do it on their own? When we awaken to the injustices which surround us and come together in the form of collective action, we can challenge the very fabric of society. Small changes can make a difference, but it is only when we all come together that big changes can be possible. In the words of Margaret Mead, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Social movements dramatically shape the direction of society. Actions like protests bring about change that can be seen in politics, religion, education, health, corporate, government, and other institutional areas. You may ask, is it worth the effort? Activism in the form of protests, as seen recently in the fight for social justice, is crucial for creating the groundwork for change. Just a few reasons why movements like Black Lives Matter are so important are that people realize they are not alone, protests alter the agenda and open a debate, an essential voice is provided to a minority group, and sometimes we do achieve a change. While the world sits in silence, human rights are being abused all around the world. But we mustn't be silent anymore. A person's opportunity to enjoy their human rights depends on others' ability to respect them. The key to fighting apathy and indifference is staying active, spreading the word on social media, bringing up human rights in your daily conversations, and engaging in proactive activism will ensure discussions continue to take place. In the search for a fairer world, it is our duty as global citizens to stand up for those who are more vulnerable and that have faced systematic oppression throughout history. In the words of Martin Luther King, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter.